What it do? What it do? It's your boy Noah G. I am your co-host with my boy Jack Pickerel, aka Jack Attack, aka Jack Your Car and Pick Up Your Girl.
Hey,
This is the
let's get
Tomato
it.
Sauce. This is the Tomato Sauce Wrestling Show. We're here under in our own separate locations. We are filming via Zoom.
A little different
And
this time we're meeting around, huh?
what was that?
It's a little different from us meeting around usually. We usually
Yeah,
would be in the same room. We'd be
exactly.
conversing like neck back to back, maybe sharing a couple brewskis.
Exactly. This wasn't meant to happen. We
No, it
were
was not.
originally supposed to be doing a podcast under Big Jack's roof here over there, I should
Yep.
say. And
Well, from your cat allergy to COVID-19 striking, it kind of wasn't working out as well as we'd want to. Plus, I couldn't figure out how to upload my first two episodes. So I'm keeping those on the wrap. Maybe they'll come back up on this channel if I can figure out how to send them his way. He uploads them, the whole shebang and caboddle. But we don't have any video to go with it, so maybe we'll figure something out.
We'll
and
figure
it's
something out.
backdated. It's kind of old news, old speculation that kind of didn't come to fruition. But it still
Right.
would be interesting to hear something from February of 2020
Before the quarantine.
before this quarantine went down.
Yeah.
And segueing off of that, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're following orders, washing your hands,
Absolutely.
not touching your face like Noah is right now. And wearing masks if you have to go out. And hopefully you're stocked up on toilet paper, because I know I am.
There you go. Absolutely. There it goes. But as we mentioned before, guys, so what it was mentioned, what was it? What the show was supposed to be was us two jabronis airing our grievances and talking our professional opinions about the world of pro wrestling. It's a topic that has so many different subgenres, so many different avenues to go down. There's so many things to talk about, whether it be rivalries, different companies, who's the greatest of all time. Like, there's so much stuff we can talk about. And honestly, that's what started our friendship. I remember
we were both in high school. I had
yeah.
just started marching band. You were a junior. I was an incoming freshman. You called me out and said, "That's a really nice Ed shirt. I like that shirt." And boom, there it was. We became friends at that point. And it really we haven't really fallen off. But reconnecting these last few months, I see our opinions kind of changed. But we're still fans at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. And not only that, but we were not only fans when we met as friends, we were that, but we actually, I don't want to say it was an attempt, but I mean, because it was legit to an extent. I mean, we reached a certain audience, but we were on a show. Let's not forget that. We were on our own YouTube backyard wrestling show. And
OSTW.
it was OSTW, Ohio State
and
Wrestling.
You originally were not a part of the original cast.
Right.
Because you weren't a wrestler. You were a manager. You were an authority figure. You were a speaker. I was the wrestler. And I got approached by DeAndre, going by Jack Andrews right now. We'll plug him later. He reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, we're doing this. I saw you like this. Would you like to join?" And I said, "Absolutely, I'd like to join. What's the details? What do I need to know? What do I need to do?" And lo and behold, we were doing that for about 5 episodes, and I stopped and I thought, you know what? I feel like I'm lacking something. Let's give Noah a call, see what he's doing. And lo and behold, we had Energy and Alex Neal. And that's who we were.
That's what happened. And that's what we became manager and wrestler. And the thing, I think, what I distinctly remember it, and I will never forget this for the rest of my life, the moment when I first tuned into the show and I saw what was being produced, Mike and DeAndre just cutting promos in the backyard. I'm like, okay, I can fuck with this. I can,
you got behind it so quickly. It was crazy.
I was hitting you up literally every day. Dude, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything from Mike? Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? And finally I got on there. I interrupted DeAndre in the middle of it because he came back, because he kept leaving and coming back, leaving and coming back. And I made the debut and came out there and talked my shit. And that's the way it was literally every single episode I got to be on. And then it just grew because we kept bringing in so many different people.
We brought in so many different people. We had
including Myron, who now is killing it on the indies.
He's on
MLW
League Wrestling, yeah.
He's killing it on the indies right now. I mean, he had a match with MJF, which is hard to believe. There's a guy who's on.
People that are on the indie scene right now that are tearing it up.
Right,
and we
exactly.
worked with them for a while. Like, that's
Yeah,
kind of crazy to believe.
yeah, it is. It's insane,
But
and I think what
if there's
happened.
enough interest for it, I think we can make a episode dedicated to OSTW, and we'll try and get
Mhm,
some stars, old
there
stars
you
on there.
go.
But I think we've been on this long enough. Let's talk about some WWE.
Why not? I
Why
mean,
not? Did you see WrestleMania?
yes, I did. I
How was your experience with it? Because I have a very distinct experience and I have a distinct story to tell about it. But I want to hear what you thought about this year's WrestleMania, because I have a clear cut, dedicated mindset to it, and I want to hear yours.
I think it was really hard going into it knowing that it wasn't going to be the same and it was going to be different. But still, I was curious. Is like, how are they going to pull this off?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to, perform without the sounds that they have to react to? And I think
Mm-hmm.
in some ways they performed. Like, for example, the Boneyard
Edge and
match,
Boneyard match, the Edge and Randy
AJ
Orton
and
match,
ooh,
the Firefly Funhouse match.
oh my
But
God,
I think those are the only matches that I can bring to mind besides the ladder match. The ladder match was really good. Those are the
who did,
only one.
who did Becky face this year? I
Becky
can't.
faced Shayna. And
Oh
I
yeah, that's
have my whole tidbit about that because I'm very upset with that match.
mm,
So, if I may, this was the weirdest WrestleMania I've ever watched.
yeah,
Now, I started watching wrestling. My first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 24. That was my first one. I saw Ric Flair retire. I saw
same.
Undertaker beat Edge. And I've watched each one all the way through up to now. And I will say this isn't the worst WrestleMania. That belongs to WrestleMania 32. But
Hmm.
this is the weirdest WrestleMania. Now, what I did this year, I had a little watch party with a couple friends that didn't know anything about it. And I had a film student watching with us. And first thing he said is, "Why are they looking around? There's no one there. Just look at the camera."
Mhm.
And I didn't understand it at the time, but I think I'm realizing it now. When it comes to being a wrestler, a professional wrestler at it, you have to be athletic, you have to be charismatic, you have to be very technical, and you have to know how to react to an audience.
Exactly.
That is hands down.
100%.
And it's a perfect, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a perfect fusion of everything. It works together so well. When you take one away, something's off. Without the crowd there, it's off. I feel like some of them reacted to it perfectly. Like the older stars, Edge and Randy Orton, perfect. They knew what they were doing. Brock and
Right.
Drew, it worked. Braun, I'd say to an extent, the triple threat ladder match. I'd say the Otis match. I'd say some of the other matches that I can't name off the top of my head.
Right.
It worked. But then
Yeah.
then I see Rhea and Charlotte, and it didn't work. It didn't click with me because one, Rhea's still new.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea's still learning.
I would have
And
liked to see the result different. And honestly, I wanted Rhea to win.
I did want to see the result different, but I couldn't connect to that match.
Right.
Because there's no audience for me to cling on to and connect with.
Right.
What else?
The interesting thing about that is I've listened and heard to so many different people like praising that match because I
hated it.
Like, yeah, I know, which is interesting because it's like, I'm glad that you can have your own opinion on this instead of honestly what I do is I'm not really thinking about it in the moment. And then I'll listen to, outside sources talk about it and then be like, I kind of agree with that.
So the match we got was not good. The match we could have gotten could have been so much better.
Right.
The one thing I didn't like was hearing Rhea scream all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it can't be helped with there's no audience to drown it out. But without an audience, it really is like, really?
Right.
Shut up. We
Exactly.
get it. I get it.
Now, the thing you mentioned about the Otis
Baszler,
no,
Otis match,
Becky, but with Otis, I think that the fact that storyline is continuing on right now.
I think it's a good continuation into a story, but we got a very good next chapter at WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
Dude. When I was with my watch party and we watched it, we all marked out.
Mm.
Most of them have never watched wrestling in their life until that.
For Otis and Mandy?
We all marked out for Otis and Mandy.
Yeah.
I marked out for Otis and Mandy.
But here's the thing right now, though. I think it's interesting how it's turned on its head because right now, post-WrestleMania...
It's now Shayna and Mandy feuding. with Otis and
You mean Sonya?
there was who did I
Sonya
say?
Deville.
Who did I say?
You said Shayna. You said Shayna Baszler. It's Sonya.
Sonya, Shayna, whatever.
Sonya. Oh my God! Like I just see
it's all right, but
she's covered in money right now, man.
she's
Sonya has so much.
I'm quite the opposite. Really, we don't need to drag this on anymore. We get it. You screwed them over, but stop pretending that you're best friends.
I think exactly.
Move on with it.
They're best friends in real life, like Becky and Charlotte are right now.
Yes,
I get that.
of course.
But I think right now, Sonya needs to quickly nip this in the butt, move on from Mandy. I think her focus needs to be on whoever's holding the SmackDown Women's Championship, because that will.
I don't even think that's what she needs right now. I think she needs a better storyline besides from the Mandy storyline. I'm not saying the storyline's bad, but there's only so much that can happen when you have a new writer and the old writer got fired. And we should go into what they're dubbing Black Wednesday in a bit. But I'm still on WrestleMania right now. I feel like they should move past the storyline, let them be. And I feel like the Otis and Dolph feud is dying down. I think we're getting closure on that, which I like.
Yeah.
But they need to do the same for the Mandy and Sonya feud. I don't want to see that. I want to see Sonya more developed, being a badass heel. And I want to see Mandy, flourish at maybe not be a face and be a heel, betray Otis. And that would get her some megaton heat, maybe get them back together if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And have them do a big rise instead of just what we're seeing right now.
Right. I think it would be interesting now that you've broken up that team and you've made them singles competitors. Now you add a title into the mix. That would make things even more interesting.
It'd be so much. I feel like if they either gave Mandy or Sonya the belt and we see them feud, it could be great. But my problem is they're not going to do that because they are so embellished with the 4 horsewomen that they have failed to develop any other women's star.
Right, exactly.
Which is my point with Becky and Shayna. Why did Shayna lose that match? Why did Becky need to win?
Yeah, I just had a. It's not like I was wanting Becky to lose.
I started watching WrestleMania and I expected, I was like, okay, Shayna's going to walk out of here and that'll be great. But no, she fucking lost. And she didn't lose to a pinfall where she didn't submit. She lost to basically a fucking roll-up. She had the lock-in. And then Becky does, whoop.
Shayna is a beast. I mean, let's just face it.
She's a beast. I'm a huge Shayna fan.
Exactly.
She should not have lost to Becky. And I think Becky is developing the Seth Rollins thing where she's not, the fans are now turning against her, even though she's still one of the bigger draws. That's what that's how I feel. I'm like, I'm getting a little tired of Becky.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Seth wants to accuse us of being two-faced fans. Yeah, we are two-faced fans. If you become boring and unoriginal, you're not the same person that you were to the build-up, we don't want to watch anymore.
And I agree with that 100% because when I look at Becky now, this is not the Becky Lynch that I saw.
In 2019.
This is not Becky in 2019. This is not the
man. This isn't the man. This is whatever.
This is like Floyd Mayweather Becky Lynch right now.
I don't want to watch it anymore.
At the same time, I'm not like, okay, let's just pull the title off of her. I think it's going to get to the point where she's like, Vince, my body, I'm going to try to do an Irish accent. My body is broken and I cannot do this anymore.
I don't even think it's that because she doesn't wrestle that much anymore.
Right.
She only wrestles on the pay-per-views and that protects her. But Jesus Christ, I want to see something different. I almost said the same with Ronda. Like, okay, we get it. You're unbeatable.
Who do you think is going to take the Raw Women's Championship off of Becky?
It needs to be Shayna. Because let's look at it. Shayna's 38. She maybe doesn't have a lot more years left in her. Let's give her a good run because she is a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If not her, I want to see Asuka take it from her.
Ooh,
I don't want to see Nia Jax. I don't want to see anyone else on Raw. I don't even want to see Ruby Riott take the title.
I want to see what I still want to see is Nia Jax and Tamina win the tag belts, but that's a totally different subject.
Here's the thing: that's the tag title belts are still around. They might just drop the damn thing because they haven't done anything with it.
That's not true. The Kabuki Warriors were doing pretty good.
No, they didn't do anything with it. There was no big feuds with the tag belts as the focus.
That's why the Iconics need to come back.
Vince doesn't understand tag wrestling. That's why the tag division has sucked. That's why the women tag division sucks. You have these teams that have been ready, and you want to give it to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Yeah, I know. back to Alexa Bliss, who is a hometown native of ours.
You had the Riot Squad. You had Mandy Rose and Sonya. You had the Iconics, and
Right.
you want to give it to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
The Iconics had it for they had their WrestleMania.
They didn't do anything with it.
Right, exactly.
Well, before we move on, we do want to talk about Black Wednesday a little bit. What are your thoughts and what's your takeaway from it? How do you feel in response? We won't name off the names. We've all heard the news in the past 2 weeks. I just want to know your thoughts.
Oh, okay, yeah. For a second, I brain farted on what you were talking about. No, all the wrestlers getting released.
All the wrestlers getting released. All the backstage staff getting released or furloughed. What's your thoughts on that?
I was getting it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, but it wasn't like it was with a lot of, I think what really shocked me was like there were
the amounts, the names that were dropped.
Right, exactly. It's just like the OC. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Like the OC got dropped. You had Sarah Logan, one part of the Riot Squad, which I was kind of bummed about because I was like, I wanted the Riot Squad to reconnect. Like, I wanted them to have their own match.
No, I didn't want to see them reconnect.
But anyway,
I didn't want to see
like,
that.
I think they could have been more. There was no belt on them.
No.
But the OC, I think, was my biggest shocker.
I think the biggest loss. Huh? The biggest loss was Primo and Epico. I'm going to say it right now.
You're joking, right?
Yes, I am joking. What are you talking
about? Okay. I could.
Okay. Well,
I think I was really sad but I think it's a. I think it logically made sense to me because
it's a necessary evil.
Right. Because it
is also
in business.
I think it's unethical at the same time.
Right. It's people's livelihoods. Heath Slater, my God, right. Like and I hear rumors and rumblings that he might go over to AEW here soon.
Nope. Cody said no.
Happen.
Cody said no.
Cody Node Slater.
Cody Node Slater.
Ooh. Okay.
We do wish these guys that have been released or furloughed the best in the future. We wish
exactly.
We wish them the best.
But honestly. Out of this whole thing, and it's sad, the one thing I am really a fan of right now and I'm pushing for, fucking Drake Maverick, man. That guy handled it with so classy. He handled it with much class, and it was real. It was
still working with them to an extent.
He's still working with them, and I think what's happening is he's going to win.
I don't know what's going to. I don't think he's going to win a championship now.
If he wins a championship, then they could retire the belt, and he could leave the company and did what CM Punk tried to do.
Why would they do that? They already have Jordan Devlin as their champion. I think it's doing so much better in NXT than on the main roster. There's no need to retire that belt right now. They do need to retire the women's tag titles because they have done nothing in the year that it's been out. So, but let's move over to, as you said, AEW, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about.
What are your thoughts right now? Because I saw a match recently, and it was during the TNT tournament, championship tournament, and I have a very big concern right now. They're using blood in a pandemic. Now I get it. This isn't a bloodborne disease. This is an airborne disease. It stays on metal surfaces, just pass through coughing. But you're gonna have a guy like Dustin Rhodes going out and bleeding. Right. Against Lance Archer, you're going to have everyone in that room. It's a bad sign. It's bad publicity, right? If you ask me.
Right, exactly. Whether
they want to try and push. Yeah, when I saw that, I got really uncomfortable, and I'm not really squeamish when it comes to blood and wrestling.
Right.
But these are different times.
Right.
These are different circumstances, and you shouldn't be bleeding.
Exactly. I think they needed to be more.
They should have called the match.
In regards to that, they need to be more conservative. They should have called it
on the fly and say, no, stop, we're not doing this. We can't have this happening.
But at the same time, you have Dustin Rhodes, who will go on record and say that he was having the time of his life back in the day. Anytime Stone Cold Steve Austin came up to him and said, hey, man, he went up to Stone Cold and said, hey, man, do you mind getting in a little color? And Stone was like, hell yeah, dude, I like working the equipment. And like they would just get bloody in the ring. Like
different. These are different.
I know it is different. I don't mind. But at the same time, Dustin's like,
if we're in the middle of a pandemic, we can't be doing this because people are going to go on TV and see that, and they're going to be dumbasses, and they're like, oh, this is happening. Well, I should just go outside, and then we're going to get a second fucking wave.
Right.
I don't know, but that's just the case.
I think it's interesting how WWE and AEW, they're doing polar contrast things.
They are.
The thing that's staying the same is that they're both doing empty arena matches. You have people making their debuts on AEW. Like, I popped when Matt Hardy showed up. I kind of knew it was coming, but
we had Brody Lee.
Oh, my God. I was
Matt
so happy.
Hardy. Lance Archer, for God's sakes.
I was so happy. Jake the Snake Roberts? Wait, that was before the pandemic, but still, my God.
I love what AEW is doing with wrestling. They're doing it I think they're doing it so much better than WWE right now by having their wrestlers come out, albeit it's not packed. They're able to move around. They're not that close to each other. They're interacting.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. It's so much better. It makes me feel so much more comfortable because now I have a crowd to rely on.
Right.
And with WrestleMania, that just didn't happen.
Right.
There was no crowd to lean behind. It was very weird watching.
Right.
With
still
AEW,
phenomenal product.
It's a phenomenal
several
product.
matches. I mean,
it's weird to watch though.
Right.
It's uncomfortable to watch.
I think
AEW makes it so much more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. What I love and hate both at the same time about AEW, and 3-letter name, you know who I'm going to say.
MJF.
I love to hate that motherfucker.
Megastar. He's a megastar. You can't tell me differently.
I agree with that, but at the same time, I think this is a guy who takes it. He crosses the line in so many ways.
But that's what a good heel needs to do. He needs
exactly
to cross the line, and
he blurs the line between
fiction and reality.
He'll tell stories all day long about going over to Mexico and having people throw glasses of warm piss at him. I mean, like that happens over there,
and it works.
And Chris Jericho will say the same thing. That's what a real heel does. But with Chris Jericho, it's like you have the biggest heel, the second biggest heel, I should say, in the business, getting the entire audience, when they have an audience, to chant his theme music, and then he'll be like, all right, shut your asses. You know?
That's what a heel is. And I think today's modern wrestling, we love to hate. We hate to love the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Edge was a heel in 07 and 08.
Oh my
I think
God.
that's when people loved it. They loved him. And I didn't understand why, because on 10-11, he's the bad guy. He's supposed to lose. Batista's supposed to win.
Right.
Now I'm looking back at it, and I think that was the start of when people really like the bad guy.
Right.
Holy shit.
Like
even back in WCW.
Prime example. Yeah, prime example in like, 2012, 2013, when Punk was in the middle of his 434-day title reign.
He turned a heel, and people still loved him because it's CM Punk. Right. I think the name alone it drawed.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Bryan, on the other hand, when he was doing the whole eco-friendly, I think that got genuine dislike for that.
People loved the Yes Movement so much that when he wasn't doing it, they hated him.
Exactly.
They hated him.
AJ Styles, though, that guy will still get cheered for being a heel.
Because it's AJ Styles.
It's AJ Styles.
Sometimes it's just the name. You'll get cheered for the name. Yep.
Exactly. I think, but anyway, going back to AEW, I think they're still trying to differentiate themselves from WWE despite the circumstances. And at the same time, I think they're not doing everything that they should in regards to, providing the best product for their audience and also giving them the right message of, hey, I think their audience isn't tuning in and saying, I'm still going to maintain within the rules and regulations of COVID, after watching the show. I think, they could do a better job at being like, look, don't do what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah. I think that's why WWE put the don't stay at home. Don't try this at home, because they knew there's some dumb people out there.
But here's the thing, though. The biggest difference between AEW and WWE right now is AEW doesn't have that one show a year that draws in so much money like WrestleMania. And going back to that briefly,
I would counter argue that Double or Nothing is that show.
Like, are they doing that? They're doing that annually.
I think they're doing that annually. I think that's their show. Unless they bring back a Starrcade or
All In.
Bash. Yeah, we're All In. Those are their main shows.
Double or Nothing would probably be. I would agree.
I'd compare that to WrestleMania. That's what I would do. It's a big event. That's what started AEW. Besides All In,
they might move the date of All In or Double or Nothing to try and coincide with WrestleMania, so that we're flipping back.
They might need to do that. I feel like they should compete with them on that, but not yet, because they're still in their they're going to be in their sophomore year. I feel like in their junior year they could probably start to compete a little bit more.
What's interesting is WWE's had to lay off so much talent, and then AEW is like, we don't need to. Like, we don't need to lay off talent.
It's like, well, I feel like they don't need to, but they also won't be picking anyone else up for a while
until everything's blown over.
They can't afford it. They can't afford to pick up Heath Slater. They can try to pick up Rusev. I think they should.
My God, they should.
I
That
feel
guy
like
deserves so much better.
I feel like Anderson and Gallows will go back to Japan and join the Bullet Club. That's what I think might happen.
The Bullet Club's in Japan right now?
Yeah.
Because I thought I heard something about them being in Ring of Honor because of what Sling or Switchblade or whatever the fuck his name is.
They show up in Ring of Honor, yes, but they are based in Japan.
Gotcha. Hey, it might happen. I think what's interesting now, still on the subject of AEW, is that we're slowly seeing the turn of Cody Rhodes from being the lovable good guy, and he's slowly, I think, becoming more of a heelish character. Which
we'll see what happens. He might have the John Cena syndrome.
There you go. Yeah. Speaking of John Cena syndrome, and I don't want to go back to this, but still, I think it's something we didn't mention for WWE and WrestleMania. Roman pulled out.
Yeah, he did pull out. Safety concerns.
Exactly, and I think from what I'm understanding, he's getting heat. He's getting heat
because he put his health and his family first. If that doesn't tell you what kind of fucking company WWE is, nothing else will.
Exactly.
Like I get it, the show must go on.
I respect that.
But
that.
I will respect putting your health and body in front of your job. That's the most important thing. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, don't fucking do it.
Prime example. This is an example out of quarantine, but take a look at what happened with Punk. Like when his health and safety, he was disregarding that.
Out on him.
Damn near he damn near died because of a staph infection.
He almost died because he wasn't taking care of himself properly.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the doctors weren't taking care of him either and weren't doing his job.
He's like, no, we can't do that because
it looks like is that a calcium deposit? No, it's a fucking staph infection.
Yeah. That's a fatty thing.
Fat deposit. Here's the Z-Pack diarrhea.
Z-Pack for
shit on SmackDown.
Yeah. But I think, my dear friend, it's debate time.
Hey.
Now I think what we need to do. I think we should set this up as 2-minute rounds. We both state our side, our opinion on the matter. I have my timer up. And what's the subject?
The subject, my good friend, is who is better, The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin? Classic, debated about to this day. To this day. And with everything that we know now and everything that has happened up to this point, it's time we revisit it and we talk about who's better. We both have opposing sides.
We both have opposing sides. So the thing is, I'm a Stone Cold mark, and it sounds like you're a Rock mark.
What?
I love Stone Cold. You love The Rock.
You got that backwards.
Do I? You love Stone Cold, and I like no. The thing I'm saying up is you love The Rock. I love Stone Cold. So we're going to argue on the other sides.
Okay.
You're going to argue for Stone Cold, and I'm going to argue for The Rock. Now, how I would like to decide who goes first is I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 2. I'm going to have this memorized. So you're going to call it out between 1 and 2. Go.
1.
It was 1, so you get to go first.
You're full of shit.
What are you talking about?
You didn't think of it. You had 2 in your head the whole time. Okay. But anyway, okay, so I'm going first.
You're going first. You got 2 minutes starting now.
Okay, so the reason why Stone Cold is better than The Rock, because nobody in the history of WWE will ever compare to the success that Stone Cold has been able to have. Nobody's going to be able to do the same things he did. And when Vince McMahon himself was going through the books and looking through the amount of money that man drew, it's there's no other comparison. Like, it's because he's the only person that Vince himself has inducted into the Hall of Fame, because nobody has matched to the success of Stone Cold Steve Austin. You will never see anybody for the rest of your life driving a beer truck to the ring, driving a cement truck into the building and filling a car full of it, beating up Vince McMahon in the hospital. Like, there's so many classic moments, and that type of thing will never exist ever again because he issued in the Attitude Era, okay? And he made the Rock. Let's put the record straight. If it wasn't for The Rock, there would be no Stone Cold. If there was no Stone Cold, there would be no Rock. And to this day, Rock wouldn't have the success in Hollywood if it wasn't for the WWE, and because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not only that, because of, again, and I will go back to it, because of all the things that Stone Cold was able to draw for the business, that's the reason why Vince McMahon He's the only person Vince has ever inducted himself into the WWE Hall of Fame because nobody is a bigger draw than Stone Cold, and he has made The Rock. So that's why he's bigger, and I rest my case.
All right. Well, I got 2 words for you. Box office.
Oh, God.
The biggest, you say Stone Cold's the biggest draw, the box office says otherwise. You say Vince has only inducted Stone Cold in the Hall of Fame. Well, it's because The Rock's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Vince will induct Rock into the Hall of Fame, so you can't really rely on that. When it comes to longevity, when it comes to the draw, when it comes to the power of the name, it does not get bigger than The Rock. Sure, he didn't wrestle very well. Whatever. The dude could talk. How many catchphrases can you name off the top of your head from The Rock compared to Stone Cold?
More on Stone Cold than The Rock.
No, it's more on The Rock. It doesn't matter. The millions, if you smell, and boom, that's all you need to know. He's the bigger draw than Stone Cold because of the name, because of the popularity, the charisma. And and if you want to go into the wrestling fact, who retired Stone Cold at WrestleMania? The Rock.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The Rock did. So, if we're looking at the mythos, the canon, The Rock is clearly better than Stone Cold. And who has the most electrifying move in professional wrestling today? The Rock, the people's elbow. And boom, I rest my case, Jabroni.
So are we doing 2 rounds, or are we just letting this?
Would you like to go 2 rounds?
We can go one more round. I'm down to go one more round.
Let's go one more round.
Alrighty.
And hopefully you don't bug out on me again, because during your part of the argument, you just froze for me. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, son of a bitch.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I still had my points that I wanted to get across. So.
I'm the one that's recording, brother.
That's fine. That's all we need to hear. I'm sure
Exactly.
I'll look back and say,
well, so if I may retort.
Okay, go
First
ahead.
of all, it was not The Rock that retired him. It was technically a neck injury, which was Owen Hart's fault. So that's the only reason why I was given to The Rock. But first and foremost, let's address the catchphrase thing. You have, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so. You have Austin 3:16. You have what? You have, I don't know if you can hear it, Vince, but there's 17,000 people in this arena calling you an asshole. You know, there's zillions of fucking things that Stone Cold is known for saying, and including, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. And he cut out 2 shitters and 1 promo at King of the Ring, which really wasn't supposed to happen because it was really originally supposed to be Triple H that won the whole damn thing, but because of the whole curtain call incident, it ended up being Stone Cold. Thank God. But anyway, I'll continue this further. The one thing you did not address when you were going on about The Rock is that if it wasn't for Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock would never have had the success he would, and thus never would have made it in Hollywood. Okay? If it wasn't for the rivalry that The Rock had with Stone Cold in 3 WrestleManias, the only match to see 3 WrestleManias was all because of Stone Cold and The Rock, and they made each other. And I think that's a point we can both agree on. But the greater star in the realms of the WWE, I will admit, and I will hold firm belief, is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Because Vince has never said, and not to mention, another reliable source, the greatest professional wrestler of all time, woo! Nature Boy Ric Flair has even said that when they're going through the numbers, nobody draws like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nobody has drawn, and nobody will draw, and that includes The Rock.
Okay. Well, you can go off of the Ric Flair theory, but I'm going to go off the Wrestling Observer.
You're looking at this right now, aren't you?
I absolutely am. I absolutely am, and you cannot stop me.
Okay, go ahead.
But the Wrestling Observer claims that The Rock was the biggest box office draw several years in a row. You know who wasn't on that list? I guarantee Stone Cold wasn't on that list because The Rock was around. And you saying The Rock made Stone Cold, I disagree. The Rock would have made The Rock with or without Stone Cold. He was just that talented and that charismatic alone that he could do it. And the issue with catchphrases, I just pull up a page full of Rock catchphrases. I can name them out for you. You absolutely suck. Who in the Rudy Poo are you? This is The Rock show. This is SmackDown. Just who in the blue hell are you? I can go on and on
Check
And
yourself into the SmackDown hotel.
on, if I had to, you named off 6, which includes the famous King of the Ring promo. I named off several, and I could have gone more. I saw 20 catchphrases that I could just name off. That is how talented The Rock was. And I will say, Hollywood did make him. I will say Hollywood made him bigger. But if he didn't go to Hollywood, he probably still would have had the same success. He'd still be inducted into the Hall of Fame by Vince. I rest my case. The Rock is better than Stone Cold. And I hate saying that.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. I hate that so much.
I think the interesting thing now, cutting through the bullshit, because I think a lot of people will have their own arguments for this.
They will. And
I think a lot of
you
people,
guys to pick a side on what
exactly.
side. We want to know, A, who won between this debate of ours, and B, what are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
Exactly.
I'm a solid Stone Cold guy, and arguing for The Rock was kind of easy.
Yeah. Arguing for Stone Cold was pretty easy too, because honestly, I'm a big mark for both.
I'm a big mark for both, but I'm just a bigger Stone Cold mark.
Exactly.
Hell, if your birthday is on March 16th, 3/16, you better be a Stone Cold mark.
Exactly. You better be drinking. You better be knocking back.
You better be knocking back a couple of beers.
Exactly. Which brings me to an important fact: they need to bring the Stone Cold IPA to Ohio, for the love of God.
Oh, why haven't they?
It's just like, what? Why? I want it. I love IPAs.
Hey, I'm not a big IPA guy, but I'll tell you, ordering liquor online is not very fun.
Hey, I ordered a bottle of straight liquor whiskey from Wooden Cork, and
I bought some corn whiskey because I went to a concert and saw a group that I liked.
What's the whiskey?
I got the bottle right here. It is number 9 Iowa whiskey. It's right about here.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
That took about 2 months to get. 2 months to get some fucking whiskey.
Elijah Craig barrel proof. You better slow your fucking roll, son, because that shit is 68% alcohol. You got to measure how much you put in your cup for that stuff. Good night, brother.
Good night. Well, I think it's about time for us to wrap this up.
Exactly. I definitely wouldn't agree more. But what I will say is, this is going to continue on for I don't know how long we're going to be quarantined. We want to continue to encourage people, stay at home, stay safe.
Please, stay safe.
Continue to sanitize.
The more you follow these orders, the quicker we can get back out and get back to our normal lives. And this can no longer be our new normal, because this is I don't like this normal.
But we continue. No, none of us do. But I think as we continue on, staying safe and taking all the precautionary measures, the one thing that's going to continue is wrestling shows.
Yep.
And we will continue to form our opinion on those. Hey. And I would encourage all of you to tune into next week. We're going to be talking about everything that happens in the next
next
7
Saturday.
days. By this time next Saturday, we will be giving you guys more content. Yep. So keep watch an eye out, and we definitely have responses. And we need to come up with a proper send off for this show.
Proper send off. Hey, I got this. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Tomato Show Wrestling. No, fuck me. It's the Tomato Sauce Wrestling Show. We'll work on this. Don't worry. But this is the Tomato Sauce Wrestling Show. My name is Jack. His name is Noah. We appreciate you tuning in. Please join us next week. And this is us signing off. Take care.